Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
That's right. It's your hostess with the mostest, burning like toast is. Your naga, your nerve, fresh off of the curb, jelly, jam, and preserve. Hey, Cosmon, right back up in this thing. Checking in down here in Ooze, right back from Ethereum. Hey, I thought this would be a good lesson today. It's not going to be very long, but I think it should be succinct and get right down to the point. In many spiritual religious systems, we always hear about their great prophets, the great prophets of Europe and the Middle East or Northern Africa and Africa itself, India, Asia, and Persia. We hear about all the great prophets from everywhere else except those of the copper-colored, brown skin with long black coarse Negroidal American Indian stock of America. Jehovah says that EAWAHTA is a spiritual guidebook for the advancement of all people. Well, then, if all means all, well, that includes the Americans too. Why don't we ever hear them stories? Why don't we never hear them stories? Shout out to everybody in the house coming through. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out for everybody. We never get the story of the great American prophet. Did you know that at the exact same time that the great prophet of China named Pope, right? And the great prophet of India, right? Ancient Hindustan or Vindu, right? Called Brahma. And the ancient prophet of ancient Ham or Africa called Abraham. Did you know that they were contemporaries? They were all born in the same year. They actually completed and did their works that we've been hearing about for thousands of years, right? At the same time, just in different places. That goes back to hint towards what the Creator was saying, that his light is for all people, right? There is no just special you as the chosen. This light was being because it is all comprehensive. It was being brought across the planet all at the same time. There ain't no big U's, no little me's. There ain't no I'm first, I'm better. At the same time that the stories and myths, allegories were being created about true events across the world, even being conflated. Like, there are many people who ignorantly, and I don't mean that, disparagingly, I mean it as in they don't know it, right? They don't know. They don't have any other information, right? They make a claim that Brahma and Abram are the same person, right? It's not true, one, right? Nor have they been able to prove it, two, nor do they know the time that they even existed, right? I understand why they're saying it, but the stories are from two different places, two different tongues. The actions are the same, but they're different people. You can't be at two places at the same time with two different people doing the same thing, unless they're two different people, right? But what about that great prophet in America? See, we can go on and on about Abram. We can talk about Moses, Yeshua. We can even get into Sakaya, who they call Buddha. The great Kapilia from India. Talk about Chinese. What about the great prophet of America? How many of y'all know what the name of the great prophet of America is? If you know that HIAWATHA is the great prophet of America, put 1 in the chat. If HIAWATHA is the great prophet of America, put 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. If HIAWATHA is the great prophet of America. Come on, y'all. Hit that 1. If HIAWATHA is the great prophet of America, hit me with a 1 in the chat. Great question. That's a great question. If you don't know, that's the best question you can ask. Who? Exactly, sis. Now, I did this because I already knew the answer to the question, and that most people would confuse EAWAHTA with the story of HIAWATHA. Why? Because EAWAHTA, the actual true prophet of America, not HIAWATHA. HIAWATHA is not the prophet of America, even in his own story, retold by the Iroquois, right? HIAWATHA goes to a great peacemaker who actually is the one making the peace. Remember, HIAWATHA is a warrior. The great prophet of America never warred. Huh? I knew it's a trick question, but this is why we go back over this, because even the faithists can be wrong. Didn't Abram tell us that even the faithists can be tricked? We're going to get, you dig what I'm talking about? Now, why they mix HIAWATHA up with EAWAHTA is because the great peacemaker EAWAHTA is memorialized in the story of HIAWATHA. Remember, the time of EAWAHTA is 3953 BC. Ark of Spita. He's 40 years old already. Right? HIAWATHA comes in 1491 from my studies. 1491, the year before Columbus and them would have got here. The story of HIAWATHA is supposedly to have taken place, right? The story of HIAWATHA is told through the eyes and understanding of the mythos of the great Haudenosaunee, or who we call the Iroquois today, right? Cosma always gonna show. Remember, I said HIAWATHA and EAWAHTA, the great peacemaker, are two different people. Shout out to the Haudenosaunee. Shout out to my people, the Mohegan. You dig what I'm talking about? I got some of that in my family. Shout out to all the Siouan and Algonquin tribes out there, all the Anguis, the Indians of America. Right? Let's get into this real quick.
The story recorded in this belt tells of a warrior named Hiawatha who meets a prophet known as the Peacemaker.
Y'all see it? Right off the top, they make the distinction. Y'all see? If y'all see, the distinction was made between Hiawatha and the Peacemaker. If y'all see that there was a clear distinction made between the two. Let's go back. Right? Let's go back. This is called Haudenosaunee Legendary Founding, Native America, Sacred Stories from the PBS. Before I even go on further, let me throw this on. I'm tripping. Fair use. Fair use. We're using this for teaching and educational purposes and only. Right? Fair use, fair use. Right? Let's get back to this.
The story recorded in this belt tells of a warrior named Hiawatha.
Now, they're talking about a belt. They're talking about this. This is called Wampum. It's literally, it's a story. Almost think Braille, right? By the way, each shell is set up, how close it is, what it is, where it is, its color, shape, and how it's double knotted, triple knotted, all into the wampum, right? They like to tell you wampum is money. It's not. It's a language. It's how people read, right? They have a movie out on, I think it's Apple TV. It's called C. Have y'all ever seen that? Y'all ever seen the show C? Hold on, you right. I might have to. Hold on. You right. You right. There's a show on Apple called C, S-E-E, right? And the dude who is Aquaman, Jason Momoa, he played. Okay, it's in a post-apocalyptic world, and everybody in the world, if you're human, is blind. Everybody, except this guy who has two twins, a girl and a boy, and they're the only people in the world who can see. Hence the title. If y'all ain't seen that, check that out. I think it's dope. But in that, they have a knot system, right? A way of knotting. You dig what I'm talking about? Remember, no one can see. So almost like a braille is onto a flat piece of paper, this is put onto string. And by the knot and the feel of it, it reads out words like braille. Right? Same thing wampum is, right? It tells a story. And this is where they get the story from. And now they're recounting it. Clear distinction between Hiawatha and the Peacemaker.
The story recorded in this belt tells of a warrior named Hiawatha who meets a prophet known as the Peacemaker.
So notice the Peacemaker in white is giving the understanding of writing, because basically this is what this is. A way to tell a story, right? So he's teaching them. Take notice of that.
HIAWATHA ta hajero tene tini hadi rono shoni tu mosogori honyo. Nekti tik na hoyata wane ne HIAWATHA. Akwegu saguyo oguma ya guni heya te. Tadotar ho wasagori ti wasaguta anar ho. Zero nigu kwatara adak tuje wa tujungun HIAWATHA. Tiwa kunti jene zora wa kunti neka getsko tanu wa ogonda ne tikanu wa kumsuga gerunyo ne karaka ta varere.
The story goes that he came up with a way of helping a person who is in grief by using this wampum to clear their eyes, open their ears, clear their throat so they could speak clearly.
Using the purity of shells to bring a person to a clear state of mind is called the condolence ceremony. It was invented by HIAWATHA, and the Haudenosaunee still practice it today.
HIAWATHA no Chronology tu mohunja taroro ge nero dienersu. Oni yote aga kayo ko haga kanyo ke haga tano so dinunduane aga. Skanagara seratsu wa ni kweni ne asabodi ni guhragwe nuni tano skatri ahadito hayo. Nekti skanagara sera yate honatunda atuma hunja tara onenda ke haga. Onda HIAWATHA ya honohrota se nerungwe sagorio saguya ugun a. Rot kunzerakso tadu tarhu. Neamha to sats no serawana ne tio hunzate.
He was a sorcerer. He had supernatural powers. He could communicate with the birds and rattlesnakes and wolves and the animal world, and they would help him. He was a mean man. His name was Tarudahu.
To convince Tarudahu to join the new confederacy, HIAWATHA and the Peacemaker seek a powerful ally. A woman named Jagonsase.
Jigagonsase was the first clan mother. She helped bring peace to the Iroquois, to the Haudenosaunee.
The Peacemaker strikes a deal with her. If she can stop the war, she can choose the chiefs.
Tigum sa se wa kungadia daniyandago ohnire sumaron kwizerake. Oneki wa hakwini hari hoyena neskona. Tigum sa se wa tumana karara. Tira di honto ne agwegoro di enersu tiruna chataro. O honto wa
Did y'all see that? Hold on, this
Jagonsase.
shouldn't be far-fetched to any faithist. Look what she did. Did she just grab the ether? Now, look, in the story, I know it's going by, it's in Iroquois, right? She Onondaga by herself, though. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the Onondaga, too. They deep in Pennsylvania. Notice he's got these snakes in their head, and they're doing this this ceremony on them, and it's like the evil, the Drew, he's being purged of it. You dig what I'm saying? But watch what the sister does, how she spins the ether and creates him a crown. This shouldn't be hard for anybody to recognize or understand, especially when you didn't see Book of Satan Tees. What did that Tesaya do for Satan Tees? She created a crown for him. Watch this.
The Peacemaker strikes a deal with her. If she can stop the war, she can choose the chiefs.
지금 사세와 공어디야 다니온다고 오늘의 수마로는 퀴즈라게. 오늘기 와하구이니 하리 화예는 네스코나. 지금 사세와 통화나 가라라. 지라디 한도네 아괴고로 디에네스 지루나 잣다로 오한도 와통와 다스테.
Jugansase transforms Tadadaho's mind and he abandons war. With the final obstacle overcome, the Peacemaker assembles representatives of each nation.
Sadiatat surodianersu da hadiha ni onigorha. Sodinindawane aga, pelwahaga, oninda gehaga, oniyote aga, danuganyo gehaga. Etornigirun shunito watati nehtararu ni onigorha sum anigaswanta arunyade.
Under a total eclipse of the sun, the Peacemaker holds the newly woven Hiawatha belt, and with the nations gathered beneath the tree of peace, he speaks the law of peace for the first time.
Speak the law of peace.
Ehlue antitawano dota ne tonera tase goa da no tonnon tawiti wa kwari wayene na gainere goa. Tiwari hawana taji on tawatka weti kwadario ne wisni unju hunzake. Tanuskon onko hakitina le tawaderoni ne shoni.
Says the world's oldest continuous democracy. I beg to differ. I say the Algonquin is much older. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm not saying that these people wasn't here. No. But even they got a time where they migrated to the Americas. And when they got here, me and your granddaddy was like, who is y'all ninjas? We was already here. Right? Now, in Owaspy, right, there are pictures of the prophets, right? Pictures of the prophets. And for everybody who say Owaspy ain't a nigga book and all that, you know, well, if this is a hateful white dude, why is all his prophets black? All of them niggas. Every single one of them. From Zarathustra to Poe, even Chinese. And how they describe Chinese, they say Chinese look more like Moses, except with red hair. They said Chinese was the same stock cut as Abraham, Yeshua, and Moses. That's the same stock. So even with the red hair, there are some discrepancies as faithists, and as faithists, I got the right to buck against anything I don't agree with. So the gang, going by what the text say, actually show something a little different. This is the representation. Of the copper color Negroidal well-shaped, athletic, brown-skinned, with long black nigga hair, who was beautiful, by the way. He said his face shine like new copper. Huh? That's from being symmetrical spiritually, hence symmetrical physically. Large Negro from America. This is what we represent as the great prophet of America. Even though we still hold the picture in Owaspy, it is what it is. Right? But by what Owaspy says, this is what they describe as this, more than it is even the great EAWAHTA in the photo. Right? Copper color, negroidal, long black nigga head. Right? This is what we see when we read the text. Right? Mind you, this is going to be in one of the books coming out, Faces of the Prophets. Shout out to Cosmon Art. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to Selah Shalom, Four Horsemen, the gang. This is the great Zarathustra, the great prophet of Persia. When we see, and then Owaspy explains that they all come from a similar genetic stock. What ties them all together? Nigga. They don't even front and fake. Ain't nobody front and fake like these Israelites. Even in this representation that we don't agree with, ain't niggas. Look at Jeebus. That's real Yeshua, not Jeebus. This real Yeshua, this bro. This who the story of Jesus is about. This guy. The severe preacher who wasn't no punk, no hoe. That story of them whooping people in this about him, not about Jeebus. Jeebus was a sympathizer with the Romans. Yeshua was fiery. Look at Abraham, nigga. That's how they represent him. Long black nigga hair. Look at Moshe. Ooh, with the Kobe, he got a taper. He got a fro and a taper with a beard. So we can't even act like if they saying they come from the same physical stock. Well, we understand why Brahma look like that. We understand why EAWAHTA look like that. We understand. This your Buddha. This Buddha right here, this Kaya. Funny, they call him Sakaya Gautama. What is Gautama, y'all? Gautama is America, the ancient cosmological name for America, before it was America. Yeah. Before it was America. Before some old Turtle Island. And the whole reason they call it Turtle Island is because we are people of the moon, right? We ran our cycle seasons and all this stuff off the moon cycles, not sun cycles, moon cycles. And we use the tortoise back to count. In the middle of the tortoise shell, there's 13 sections. 20, those are the 13 months of the moon, right? Around the outside, there's 28. And every turtle except the flat leather sea turtles. You get a land turtle from America, it got 13 sections in the middle, 28 sections on the outside. Count. Right? But hold on, let me go down. But this is the guy we got as a physical representation, right? Also represented as, look how we got him looking. Dreaded, naughty. You dig what I'm talking about? Regal. Look at this man. That's a nigga. It's an Indian. Huh? This is what the great prophet of America would have looked like. This is your so-called King Philip. Down from the great Powhatan confederacy. Your Mardi Gras Indian. Huh? Let's get shout out to my OGs. Right? I always tell y'all that my OGs is better than y'all. Dig what I'm talking about? And I got this one from my OG. My OG Pooch, aka Dr. Susan B. Martinez, PhD. Nigga. You dig what I'm talking about, haters? And it said HIAWATHA. And I asked her why she did that. She did it on purpose. Because y'all would know this. And it's still tied into the story of HIAWATHA. But now it's revealing the great prophet, the great peacemaker. She knew what she was doing from the get-go. Just like when I asked the question, was HIAWATHA the great prophet of America? Mo said yes. Even those who have read Owaspy who know HIAWATHA ain't. So this is why it's dope that Owaspy is so vast. Because even though, you know, me personally, I've been over this a lot. We all haven't been over this. And even if we do, sometimes we just don't think about it. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, being real, like, I don't know, bro. I just never thought about it. But now it's being brought to the forefront. You done told me about Moses. You told me about Abba. You told me about everybody else. Everybody. Tell me about the great prophet of North America. Specifically here. Tell me about the great tribes of Gautama, North and South. Huh? Tell me about the great nations before there were. You dig what I'm talking about? So-called tribes. Right? Tell me about the mighty nations that the tribes consist of. Or tell me about the mighty nations that consist of different tribes. Excuse me. This is HIAWATHA. Say, today man has built spaceships to other planets. Tomorrow, man will build communities of peace and brotherhood on Earth. Come, let us build together a model. Says, I will raise up prophets among the who. If you don't know who the Ahuans are, go look back at my video just about 6-7 videos ago. The Ahuans, the great mound builders. I mean, the great megalithic builders, the large Negroidal Indians of America, the Ahuans, right? Notice everywhere you're going to see Ahuwa, you're going to see megalithic builders, large men. You're going to hear these stories about giants building megalithic structures, and that's just what you're going to see because that's just who you were. Think about it. Nobody ever takes into account when they talk about the ancient world, they never think about the environment. Huh? When you say a thing like 20,000 years, that's That's a massive amount of time. But even then, you got to understand what the hell is on the planet. What is the air like? Huh? What are the animals, the fauna like? You see what I'm saying? You must take all that into account. Where are the seas? Huh? If we are in a ice age, which means you got polar caps on both sides of the planet, that's all that means. But let's say you're in a glacial maximum where you got a ice sheet on your continent. How far does it drop? What does it affect? What areas do it affect? Don't it affect some others? You dig what I'm talking about? When is it melting? You see what I'm saying? Nobody ever takes into account the environment. Think about this. Right now, on Earth, roughly 71% of all our breathable air is made up of nitrogen. It's only roughly about 20%, 21% oxygen. I did some studies. They said just 12,000 years ago, so 10,000 BC, right? There was roughly about 28 to 30% oxygen on the planet, right? Then we see a drop in the oxygen and a great extinction of animals at the same time, called the quaternary extinction event, right? During the Younger Dryas, and all these things are going on at the same time, right? But we see that with the drop of oxygen, massive amounts of species go extinct. This is the death of the megafauna. Well, 20,000 years ago, megafauna would have been flourishing, but it's about 35% oxygen in the air. So things are massive. Everything is big. Like if you ran across a modern day, let's say a New York rat, they big anyway, right? They kind of big. You dig what I'm talking about? But they like small cat size. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm saying during that time, they would have been Doberman Pinscher size. You know, Presta Canario size, a large, better than 100-pound dog size. That would have been your common rat. They had a pig called a terror pig. Listen, y'all got to look this stuff up. It's called a terror pig. It's about, if I'm not mistaken, it's taller than a moose, right? It's bigger than a moose, but think like a wild boar, but 7 feet tall at the shoulder with all these Tuscan horns and all this stuff coming out of it. And it weigh about 1.5 tons. It's like a moose, but instead of horns, it got these big tusks in his mouth. And it's got long legs, not little short legs, like a pig. Right? So this thing about 8 feet tall, and it's a warthog. And then they got these things called terror birds. Now, I know y'all done seen ostriches, right? Think like, now ostriches is pretty tall. They're about 7 feet. Think about a 10-foot, 12-foot ostrich, but it's got a big ass sharp beak on it, that can cut a man literally in half in one bite. One bite. It's like a massive like hawk beak on it, right? But it weighs about 1.5 tons or a ton. You dig what I'm talking about? Well, I'd say about 1,500 pounds. But they fast. They can't fly. They run. And think like a velociraptor, but a bird. And it's got a big old beak. And kind of like a velociraptor with a ostrich. Man, this is running around regularly every day. Mind you, it's 10 feet tall. Right? This is the stuff you got American lions, the biggest lion to ever live, ever. A lot of people don't even know lions are indigenous to America before they ever even got to Africa. They're indigenous to America. American tigers. They got this thing called a cave bear. Y'all gotta look some of this stuff up, man. I mean, phenomenal animals. You can't believe how big this stuff is. This the everyday stuff. This the everyday stuff. So if all the fauna on Earth is that big, all the flora on Earth, the insectoids, every species on Earth is massive. Why wouldn't the man be? We know nature do one thing: build and destroy. Huh? Condense and dissipate. Positive, negative. Huh? Create, destroy. It is the great duality of the creator, the seen and the unseen. Huh? He said, I will raise up a prophet among the niggas of America, the copper colored Ahuans, and they shall build unto the great spirit. Who is standing by the great spirit today? Pat yourself on the back sometimes, Faith is. You dig what I'm talking about? This is when you can give yourself a little pat on the back. You know, it's what you're supposed to do, but you giving yourself a pat on the back because you got it. Nobody is forcing this understanding on nobody. You see what I'm saying? So ain't it dope that you got it? For your pleasure and enlightenment, we have gone back to work in the hopes of producing a series of small booklets on the prophets. Although, hold on. Although we could have started with Zarathustra, the first son of light, 9,000 years ago or 7,053 BC, during the beginning of the Ark of Lut, we choose instead to begin with EAWAHTA, the who? The so-called HIAWATHA 6,000 years ago. Did y'all know that the great prophet of America existed 6,000 years ago? Imagine this. That's from 3953 BC, right, to 2048, right? 24 years from now, right? 24 years from now. You are 24 years less than 6,000 years. Right on time. Falling right in time with the timetables of prophecy. This is how you know they're telling the truth. Look, this is at the beginning. 6,000 years ago, that's 4,000 BC. Exactly the time I'm telling you. I'm saying 3953. right? We always try to be exact. But they said they wanted to start with the great prophet of America, EAWAHTA, also misnomered as HIAWATHA 6,000 years ago. For we understand the timelessness of unraveling Aboriginal, now notice, also Native American roots, right? This is American Indian. We can substitute that. The unraveling of American Indian and also Native American roots. Huh? A lot of them don't know where they got these stories from. They don't know. They got them from us. Shout out to the Haudenosaunee. They kept many of these stories alive, many of the traditions, many of the democracies that they were taught. Remember, the Peacemaker went to them and gave them a democracy. Where was the Peacemaker from? For we understand the timelessness of unraveling Native American roots in the sacred manner, right? Or American Indian roots. And we celebrate the first faithist to walk on this land, the red copper-colored Indian. This is how you know it's you. The Angui. This means Indian, Negro, right? This is the descendant of the copper-colored people mixed back with the mound builder. So the megalithic builder bred with the mound builder and produced what we call an Indian, an Angui, a Negro. Red. Only red people today in America with black course. First of all, he said these people, these Anguis, are brown. I'll show you that. Say copper colored brown. But it's all good. We know red is a derivative of brown. It's all good. Niggas is still red. We ain't tripping over no color. What you doing? We talking about being faithist. Now, for the traditional or native way is the way of the creator. Listen to this. This is why it's important to get into this, because this helps bring back the remembrance of your own nationality, your own heritage, your own culture, your own ethnicity, right? You ain't got to snatch nobody else's. Understanding that your ancestors, especially in America, have always and only praised the Great Spirit. And if anything else at any other time was put onto the people, those people died out with that. Because that stuff don't lead nothing to death but to death. Why the people who praise in the Great Spirit, even through war, famine, everything, we still here. And the world jock us. They practice our culture as hip hop. Knowledge in motion. Don't that sound like the way of a creator? Using knowledge and putting that in motion? Wouldn't that create stuff? Yeah, that's because that's the way of the creator, the Great Spirit. And we only gave it up to the creator in America. Shout out to the Aboriginals. You dig what I'm talking about? For the traditional way is the way of the creator, the Great Spirit only, remembered, nurtured, protected by the American Indian. Says EAWAHTA, a man chosen by God for the children of Gautama. Gautama is the ancient cosmological name of America. When the fleets of Pan, right? And remember, Don't y'all know y'all Algonquin flood mythos? In your flood mythos, Algonquins, you came from a place called Pan. This is known. The 34 ships that went east landed in America, in the central part of America. And those 34 ships of Guatemala, or the 4 tribes, landed in the place known today as Guatemala, or the land of the 4 tribes. They just found some new stuff in Guatemala. I got to bring that out. Oh man, I've been watching so much stuff on stuff that they finding. Oh man, it's listen, it's lining up. Listen, it's making Owaspy look. It's not only historical, it's beyond historical, because Owaspy is telling you about stuff that don't nobody know nothing about way before it even was found or known. It tell you what it is, what it do, and where it's at. And then we 120 something years later find out, oh damn, the moon is in the Earth's atmosphere. Huh? That's how we like stumbling into this information. You dig what I'm talking about? But this is for the profit of the children of America. Taken from the first book of God, Owaspy, being a sacred history of the Negro of America, the Angwi and Honga, its very first prophets, and the very first way you learn to start to tell time. Right? Now, the history, as you will see with Angwi, goes back to the flood. This is ancient. At least another 9,000 years on top of this. As us. I'm talking about 16,000. This time we talking about of Angwi and Hunga, right? Or the time of Hunga starts about 7,000 BC, 7,053 BC, or 22nd arc cycle, the arc cycle of Lu, right? That's when they start really keeping count here. 7,000, only about 9,000 years ago. But who was keeping count? Who was the prophet? It was the Angwi, the Negroes of America. Right? Dodge the hijack with the Native American roots. These is American Indian roots. Right? And this is the sacred history of it. Seal of the Creator. Do y'all know how to tell time? What year is that? Let me see if y'all know how to tell time. See if we've been learning something here. That says 150 years after Cosmon. So what year was this printed in? Come on, y'all. What year was this printed in? What year did Cosmon start? If it's 150 years after Cosmon, what year is this printed? Hit me in the chat. I know I've been teaching y'all time and how to tell it. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a minute. Somebody ought to be able to tell me what year 150. First of all, what year are we in right now? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. Put in the chat. What year are we in? Does anybody know? I know some people know. Put it in the chat. I ain't gonna keep you in suspense. 2030. What is 2030? That's what year we in? That's what you saying? Lawrence Burton say 2012. OTK. You say you're in the year of Cosmon. What up? 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 See some people getting close. What year is this? What is 150 years after Cosmon? What year is that? It's 150 years. Correct. Uh-oh. I keep telling y'all my OG's better than y'all OGs. It is the 176th year of the Cosmon era, or 2024. Right? When does the Cosmon era start, y'all? When does the Cosmon era start? This is how you tell time, right? This is how you do it without the Gregorian calendar, without the Julian calendar. Well, now we're using them because these are what we taught, right? But if that is so, and truth is truth, well, then we'll be able to bend the Julian and Gregorian calendar to our understanding, because we're using the sun and the moon to count. That's right. Here we go. Here we go. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. Go. 1848. Correct. That's the beginning of the Cosmon era. Yahweh. Correct. Beginning of the Cosmon era. But dreadful Cosmon came and killed him. Dreadful Cosmon came through, shot it up. You dig what I'm talking about? This is the year since the creation of upright thinking man was created. 72,176, or 2024. Huh? The 176th year of the Cosmon era, 25th arc cycle, 176th year. So, what? Right? So, correct. Just me. Correct. Correct. David Long. Right? Correct. Oh, my bad. I was still in the Gregorian calendar. I get it. I get it. I get it. You dig what I'm talking about? It's 150 years. Correct. Correct, Bank of Hambar. Come on. What year is this? Add 150 years to 1848. What year is it? Because this is a teachable moment, and this is why I ain't going to let up on this, y'all. Thank you, BC. 1998. If the Cosmon era started in 1848, and this is 150 years after Cosmon, what do you got to do? You take 1848 and you add 150. You're going to get 1998. So we're looking at you see how it work now? We don't need nobody. Shit, even the biblical God told us we use the sun and the moon as times and seasons and months. How to tell time. Even the biblical God told us that. He just turned around and didn't teach you how to do it. But if Cosmon here doing it, and y'all actually learning how to tell time, not just talk about it, who's God? And if I'm God and my right-hand man is Lord God, who are you? Uh-oh. See how the game changed? You start putting that focus on something else. You start putting it on the creator, and it go right back on you without you having to do nothing. Because the only thing you do is doing something good for somebody else. That's it. That's all the law. Ain't no other law. If anybody else that was a faithist told you got to do something else, they lying. They don't understand how simple this shit is. It got to be this simple. A lot of you niggas slow as shit. Y'all on the spectrum. You dig what I'm talking about? And excuse me to people who really are on the spectrum, because you make them look bad, because they're actually great people. I've never actually met a mean autistic person. Not one. Never. Y'all niggas nasty and dirty and filthy and mean. You know how many guns I'd have had pulled on me? Just don't. Just don't lie. Hey, OTK, where my dog? Where my dog OTK at, man? Hey, man. Prophet came on the apostle came on there and pulled the pistol on me. Like he said, this one for you, Cosman. I know you Detroit. I died laughing. But this is how it goes. And these are supposed to be our spiritual leaders. You dig what I'm saying? These supposed to be our spiritual leaders. But it's all good. Let's get into it. It says, lo, my words are rewritten. Search thou for the evidence of my footsteps on the earth. Find the people who stand by the Creator. If you one of the people who stand by the Creator, hit me with a vortex in the chat. LTK. Hey, man, that's about the 10th time nigga they pulled a pistol on me online, man. I ain't even... nigga, he just got to shoot me now. I'm buying the wolf ticket. It say, find the people. He said, if you want to find proof of what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, my footsteps upon the earth. Obviously, the Creator don't have feet. Don't be simple, right? But it says, find the people who stand by the Creator, who can shake their faith. Who gonna feed me a story of a Savior born of a woman like Jesus or Osiris or Onias III, white boy Jew Savior? You can't sell me ball and ale and none of that. Nobody born of can save me but me. Huh? Ain't that proof that the people who stand by the Creator is saying what he's saying? Well, how is it doing this in 1882? How did they know Cosmon will be up here doing this? And then, remember, the whole point of this is about the American prophets. It says, look for them people. They book is a power, right? They are the ones who will be bringing this word out are the remnants of the Algonquins. Let it sink in. This is what a wasp be bringing out. It's all good. Look, it say find the people who stand by the Creator. That's the Creator gang. Man, look at all these vortexes up in here. Look at all these people. Look at the people who are standing by the Creator. You the only ones. You the only people in this country, I say, that got guts. That truly love their father. And willing to love on another person the same way to prove it. Ain't that dope? Ain't that dope that that's all the law. Ain't no 613, ain't no secret hidden 37, ain't. You dig what I'm talking about? Yeah. Lawrence Burton said, yeah. Same here, because mine had to look down the barrel of that cold steel quite a few times for doing good by others, man. Right? It don't matter if you call him Allah. Don't matter if you call him God. Don't matter. If you talk, when you say God, just understand that you serve the smartest thing ever. He understands when you bullshit. And he understands when you real. So even if your time of pressure, you don't even believe in Jesus, but you called out to Jesus, just understand that it wasn't Jesus that answered that prayer. He knew who you was talking about when you called out. He that smart. When it's real, he know when it's real from the heart. Right? When your cousin died, when your brother died, when your sister died, your mother dies. And you say, God, 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 God. He know you ain't talking about the true Lord and true God. He know you talking to him. He know. That's that real prayer. That thing come from deep inside you. Mm-hmm. He reading that. So the name don't even matter what you call it. We don't argue over no name. What does it do? Remember, we call the creator Jehovah. There's a false Jehovah in the Bible. How do we tell the difference from them? Mine say don't kill nothing, raise up the babies and love on everything, eat fruits. This nigga say, kill babies, I'll accept Jephthah's daughter as a human sacrifice. I'll bash the baby's heads against the wall, go to war. If you don't believe in me, you're going to hell. And then nigga, 144,000 of y'all going into a little bird box, 2.25 million miles square. Not even big enough to fit to outside the continental United States. It's smaller than the Midwest. Oui. Oui. Said many, many years ago. Look, you know these names. Cosmon ain't making this up. This that stuff that when you hear these words, they hit different. They hit different. You always knew the creator was Geechee. Ooh, you always knew the creator was Manito, or three things in one. Ooh, so was man. Ooh. You always knew that you was always being oppressed because you wouldn't praise them other niggas' gods. It was creator only over here. Geechee only. Many, many years ago, in the time of Geechee's king, the great Ego Quim. This is where you get the word Algonquin from, right? And in the land of Guatemala, North America, well, all of it's called Guatemala, but specifically North America, the first tribes of Ahuans, red men, copper-colored men, flourished and thrived peacefully and wisely, in the honor of the earth and the glory unto the Creator. They were the first tribes of the Ahuan copper-colored race. Remember, these are Ahuans. So when they say red, know that they're talking about reddish brown, right? My color, right? The first tribes, even all the way up to light red bone today. That's all red. All of it. So don't let them throw you off, or don't let that misnomer you because you may be in a certain understanding, you know what I mean, where they don't like to say red, they like to say copper, or, you know, this type of understanding. Don't let that stop you from actually getting something from it just because it says red instead of copper. And remember, my OG wrote this, PhD linguist, right? So she knew what she was doing, and she not wrong. Right? Even though Owaspi calls them copper, I mean, is she such a far stretch that y'all can't see copper as red? They even call The red color, Indian red. Copper is Indian red. We know the Indians are the Ahuans. The Ahuans are Negroidal, copper color brown with dreads. It's only one people like that in America. Only one. He is today misnomered as African American, but he ain't got a drop of African in him. He the first American, an Ahuan, the builder of the great megalithic structures. That's where the first tribes of the niggas of America flourished and thrived peacefully and wisely, and honor on the earth and the glory unto the Creator. They were the first tribes of the red race to inhabit the land of America after the flood, and they dwelt together in peace and harmony. Their face were like what? New copper. And they stood upon the earth, what? Tall and strong, swift and handsome. And they were called Angui, or Indian, or Negro. Look, if you move this G, right? Take this N, put it down here, move this double E, and you take that G and that W, move it to the end, put that O on the end. That Angui becomes Negro. Remember, in Portuguese and Spanish, there is no wo sound. Now, I'd like to ask you, who are the first people of the Europeans to come over to America? And did they speak a Latin-based language? So now the Negro becomes Negro. It's just language. It's just time. It's language. It is what it is. The dope part is to be able to put this stuff together and make it make sense. And find you in the story. Look, they're talking about the nigga of America who face like new copper. Who got a face like new copper today? Does the Native American who was on the plantation have a face like new copper? How about the Aleut of the Siberian regions in Alaska? Does he have a face like new copper? What about the Inuit? Does he have a face like new copper? I'm going to just get down to the brass tacks. Is there anyone outside of the Negro of America, who we are learning is the Indian of America? Is there anyone outside of him who has a face like new copper? Right? I know the question is rhetorical, but I ask it so you could ask yourself. That's why I asked it in question form. Right? Is there any other people in the Americas who are tall, strong, swift, and handsome, called, what I'm telling you, Negroes or Indians, with a face like copper, other than the so-called Negro, misnomered African American? If you can put him in there, you dig what I'm talking about. Put him in the chat. Now, mind you, he got to have long, black, coarse nigga hair. That's the kicker. Jaja said, I ain't even leave the hair out of the man, so it would be no question. There would be no question. I didn't even leave the hair. So you can look at what's admixed with what, even by its hair. See, I ain't leave nothing to question. I will make, look what the Creator say, I will make mighty nations out of the seeds of the large Negroidal megalithic builders of Americas, the Ahuans. Where is Teotihuacan? Who built that? What about Sekse Ahuaman? What about Huaranco? And when you go look at these places, let me know if there's megalithic buildings there. Kind of hints back to these people naming the places after themselves. And if that's so, then we just proved that you are the Ahuan modern day. Especially if the people who are going to be bringing out this world are the Algonquins, and it's only 4 of us. It's only 4. Malachi Maccabee, Cosmon Cal, Selah Shalom. Daryl Cosmon. That's it, 4. So where is the rest of the remnants of the Algonquins? Who else is bringing this out? It's so new, I got my homies pushing back on it. They hear some stuff like, what? Wait a minute. Wait. What you say? And I ain't mad at that. That means you're thinking. Right? One thing we're going to do over here is keep it real first, and we ain't no suckers. We ain't going for nothing. I will make mighty nations out of the seeds of the Negroes of America. Now, the earliest Ahuans in America are Gautama, Ban, right? Now, this is not just one man. This is a tribe. This is a whole group of people, male and female, right? So when they say Ban, they're not just talking about one person. But the son that comes from the initial mix that goes on to produce the X people is a tribe and a people too. Right? But there is one initial man who took on the name, and then the tribe comes after him. Right? Okay. This is how it's working. Now, the earliest Ahuans in Gautama, Ban, married the maiden C. We were just talking about C. And their firstborn son was named La Ban A C. See? Ban C. La Ba La. He would have been called La. And look at his father's name, Ban, and his mother's name, C. These are the actions of a compound language. In America, this ancient Paleo Algonquin language. This is old. This is actually before there would be an Algonquin officially, right? This would be 22,000 years ago, right? They spoke a compound language. La, Ban, Asi. Right? So the son of Si and Ban is Labanasi. Right? That compound language in America anciently is called Yeehaw. You ever heard Yeehaw? You ever wonder where that came from? That is the name of the pre-Paleo Algonquin, spoken by the first niggas of America. Okay, and Labanasi, right? He was born a Suis or a clairvoyant, for he could hear the voice of the Creator, the Great Spirit, and the voice remained with Labanasi during his lifetime, which was 125 years. And the voice descended to his son and to his son after him. Oh, my bad. It said, and thence to his son after him. And in time, there were 18 original tribes of Geechis chosen amongst the Negroes, the first Indians, the megalithic builders of America. And they became everlasting heirs to the voice. Everlasting, that means you are of this stock, especially if you've been called Negro, Black, African American, slave, colored, freeman, freedman. You are of this American Negroid stock. And there's only one like you. There ain't no more of the people like you. So when they try to tell you that you African, that's not in effect true. It's not actually true at all, for the most part. Now, if you came here later in time, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You could have had an African ancestor, but you know that your last name is Mbutu, Mbekwe, Njikwe. You got an African name, and you know your African grandmama. She still speak Nigerian. She make fufu. You know what I mean? You still know, got them ties, because you aren't that far removed from your lane, right? But the Aboriginal been here so long, setting the trend so long, it's possible through colonization, through oppression, through war, through natural acts, that you just so old you forget who you are. Ain't it good that we serve DT? He bringing all this stuff back up. Can't get away from it now. It is what it is. And in time, there were what? 18 tribes of the creators, Geechis chosen amongst the Ahuans, the niggas in America. And they became everlasting heirs to the voice. Everlasting means they are still today. But who are the Ahuans today? Y'all better go back and watch the video. And to Ara, who I believe, this is just what I believe. I did some research on this. I believe the people, right? Did it go on to be called Ara, right? I think thousands of years later, they become the people called Ana. I only got circumstantial evidence to prove that, but the iron genetic, being able to hard to live on the face of the earth, and then a whole people come up missing in the Chaco Canyon region. I believe the Ara become the Ana, who later on become the Anasazi. Right? Because they talk about the people who did all this crazy megalithic building, but it ain't the common Native American who is there today. And Navajos, Pueblos, all of them, they'll tell you, man, we didn't build none of that. We wasn't even here yet. They'll tell you. You know? It said, and to Ara, God said, arise and go forth, my hand will steer thee. And under the tribes of Ara, there were tens of thousands of people. And they built a city, and they called it the place of beauty, or F-Span. But in after times, Ara lost the voice. Another reason I believe that they are the Anasazi. But remind you, we're talking about time before the Anasazi would have even existed. We back in between 7,000 and 4,000 BC. That's where we are right now in time, right? So look what he said. He said, Ara lost the voice of the creator, right? But, so what happened? So the Great Spirit raised up who? Shoshani, We learned a lot about the Shoshone. Ooh, there's a lot of Negroes over there. Right? The real Shoshone. Shout out to the Shoshone. So the Great Spirit raised up Shoshone of the tribes of who? Y'all don't even know that name. Stogilabak. And Geechee raised up, and then let me show you, they not even from the 50 continental states, 48 states. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Shout out to Shoshone. Right? And Geechee raised his hand before Shoshone and pointed the way. And the sons of the Shoshone, and the son of Shoshone was a youth of great beauty and strength, a swift runner. And the voice of Geechee Manito came. That's God. Geechee Manito is God. It's not the creator. See the difference? See how God is different from the creator? Same difference we always knew between Geechee and Geechee Manito. One creates the other. The creator creates God. Geechee creates Geechee Manito. And the voice of Geechee Manito came to him and remained with him during his natural lifetime, which was 90 years. And his descendants kept the voice and inhabited the regions of Yitzhak Townsend, called today Arkansas. Shout out to all the Razorbacks. Shout out to my sister Deshaun LaFay. She out there in Arkansas. Who else out there in Arkansas? Damn, baby bro name is Eli. Baby bro that be singing and cooking. No, why his name is Eli? Is his name right? Eli. Your faith is too in the game. Damn, his name is slipping my. Anyway, he out there in Arkansas too. Look at this. This straight Indian land. Right? And his descendants kept the voice and inhabited the regions of Yitzhak Tuasau, or Arkansas, and his people became mighty in cities and agriculture. It's that mound builder stuff. And it came to pass that the voice remained with their heirs for 4,000 years. The voice of the creator stayed within the people of Arkansas. 4,000 years. Right? Now, mind you, remember we're talking about a time in between 7,000 and 4,000 BC. So even if it was at 7,000, by 3,000 BC, they had lost the voice. See how ancient the stuff we're talking about is? 4,000 years later, after this, after they didn't have the voice, it's still 5,000 years ago to us. Crazy. This 3,000 BC when they lose the voice, when Egypt is being founded. They had it for 4,000 years before Egypt was founded. Let that sink in. And it came to pass that the voice remained with their heirs for 4,000 years. These were the heirs of Monog. Remember that compound Yeha language? Right? Monog. He was like, it says these were the heirs of Monog, but their names and their cities became so long that no man could speak them or write them. I.e., look at Monog. They said these are the descendants. These people of Arkansas are the descendants of Monog. Monog comes from Central America. Right? But Look at the name. Look how the compound language kept going on. So just to say Monad, talking about one person, his name was Monago Amaya Zafu Fasa Wanhuta Ganga Irankimuts. Just to say Monad. See how that, right? Look what it says. Their names and the cities' names became so long that no man could speak them or write them, because different people was coming in with different dialects, calling the same place by different names, but to get understanding in the language, how you compound it together. Just like Ban and Si make Labanasi or Labansi. You see what I'm saying? Same thing. Now it's this long. So look what Geechee do. So Geechee simplified the matter. He raised up Hunga. This is that Aboriginal history, culture, and heritage. There ain't nobody else teaching. Right? Believe it or not, it's purported to be coming from the creator that a real nigga then went into and tried to tear apart and disprove everything of it and found out it to be all true. And what I don't know about it is just pending. But everything else that I tried to debunk, I tried to debunk OWASP. I don't go into nothing. Not knowing that I know what I know. And I better be able to stand on and pull up source, point right at it. You dig what I'm talking about? It ain't about if people like what you do. It's about, are you good and are you doing the right thing? Right? And you bringing out that information that's right and exact, you doing the right thing. You dig what I'm talking about? And that's a big shout out to all the content creators out there. You dig what I'm saying? It's not easy. You dig what I'm talking about? If it was easy, everybody would do it. You dig what I'm talking about? That's why I be, hoping my people show some love, man, and share these lives out. Thumb up the video. You dig what I'm talking about? Because who else bringing you this? Y'all been in this, many of y'all, 10 years of Aboriginal stuff. You ain't never heard nothing about Hunga. You didn't know nothing about the 18 original tribes. You ain't never heard about Owedu. You didn't know Arkansas was called Yitzhatiasau. You ain't never know about Ara and the possible connection to Anasazi. Huh? You don't know when they started to teach time. And that understanding is called Haganga and applies to the line that prophecy descends from in America. Ooh-wee. You see what I'm saying? Y'all getting a little something up out of it so far, man. Hit me with a vortex. We're going to keep going. So Geechee simplified the matter. He raised up Hanga, the son of Ab, of the tribe of Owedu. Where is he at? And God spoke to Hanga, the first and mightiest of the nigga stock, the red men, and instructed him. What did he instruct him to do? He said, thy firstborn son shall have thy name, Hunger, and thy son's son shall be called Hunger also, and thy son's son's son, and so on forever. For I am wearied of the burden of names. Thy creator hath spoken. And the tribes of Hunga, which had been in the middle kingdom, listen, in the middle kingdom, in Central America. Story ain't all what you thought it was. You thought you was just one nigga. Mind you, we still 7,000 BC. dig what I'm talking about? And the tribes of hunger, which had been in the Middle Kingdom and in Central America first, migrated till they came to Gai. Does anybody know where Gai is? Gai means eagle. And our Gai is the Great Rocky Mountains. Well, even the eagles dare to tread. So they migrated from Central America to the Rockies. And hunger went into where? The mountains of Gai, or the Rocky or Eagle Mountains, sloping to the east. So he's on the eastern side of the Americas. Hold on. Just to get a little physical representation of where we at. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, I'm going to share this, but it won't let me blow it up. Okay. Let me go back to this. Okay. Here we go. There goes something we can look at. Now watch this. Now I said they was in Central America, so they all the way down lower than Mexico, right? It says that the tribes of hunger who came from the Middle Kingdom, so which is Central America, so to get to Central America, you got to walk through Brazil. You got to walk through Honduras. You did what I'm talking about. You got to walk through Belize. You got to come through Panama. You got to, or you might have started in Panama. You did what I'm talking about, but you got to come through these places and then walk through Mexico, right? Till they came to the Great Rocky Mountains, right? Till they came to the Great Rocky Mountains, right? And they lived east of the Rocky Mountains in the Great Plains region, right? In the Great Plains region. So they would have been in what would be, let's see, what would that be? Okay, this is probably a little better, right? Now, if they're east of the Rockies, they would have been in states like New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Texas. But I'm primarily saying they was right here. New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, in this area right here. Almost in the not too far from the Four Corners region, but this way. New Mexico, Colorado. They would have been right here in Oklahoma and Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. They'd have been right here. Right? This is where the great tribes of hunger start from, and this is where we start counting time. You know what I'm saying? This was the importance of hunger himself. Let me get back to this. Say, and there was a Rocky Mountain sloping to the east. And Geechee spake to Hunga, or the creator spoke to Hunga, said, out of thy seed I will raise up a greater tribe than all other tribes. And so it came to pass that the voice of the Great Spirit remained with the tribes of hunger. And as to their laws, he who heard the voice was chief or high prophet of the people. And he was called Hoanga. But the people themselves were called Angui. The same that hath endured to this day is called Indian. You know who don't like to be called Indian? The Native American. Odd, right? No, because it ain't them. They right. And in this way was established the beginning of the time counts in America. This is how they began to count time. It's between 7,000 and 4,000 BC. For no man knew the number of generations until that time of Hunga the first. And the generations were numbered in this manner. This is how they numbered. The first chief was Hunga the first. And the next succeeding was second Hunga. And the next third Hunga. Right? The land. Hold on. Okay. And the land became full of cities to the east and the west, and from the north and south. And the people dwelt in peace, tribe with tribe, the world over. Look at that. In those days, the kings and learned men put their hearts to working, building canals, and finding places and roadways for them. Let me show you what they're talking about. Hold on. Let me get a good one. Okay, here go one. This is a good one. This will work. All right. Booyah. Right. He said, in those days, in between 7,000 and 4,000 BC, when they started counting 9,000 years ago, the kings and the learned men put their hearts to work building canals and finding places and roadways for them. And herein laid the great glory and honor of men at that time. So what they're telling you is that in America, hold on, let me get back. Let me go back, my bad. In America, these great river pathways, this is what EAWAHTA suggested, like the Mississippi, the Arkansas, the Missouri, right? The Snake, Columbia, the San Juan, Sacramento, the Rio Grande, the Colorado, the Red, the Calusa, right? The Chattahoochee, the Tennessee, the Ohio, They saying these were hand built. Hand carved. They're saying, let's read it again. In those days, the kings and the learned men put their hearts to work in building canals and finding places and roadways for them. And herein lay the great glory and honor of man at that time. Right? Now let's go back to this. Now, this actually connects over here to Superior and all that stuff. And it also has a connection in Michigan, in Lake Michigan. So it's connected both ways. This flows south, north to south and goes this way, right? But these right here are the Appalachian Mountains and all that stuff right here. The crazy part is these rivers that go east, Ohio, which really should be flowing west to the Mississippi, flow east. So to do that, you got to find the level, the grade, right? Or, like Owaspi is saying, the roadway for them. The crazy part is the Ohio, right, doesn't flow west to east down here. It comes off the Mississippi and flows east to the mountains. The Tennessee flows to the east. How is that possible if the water flow is flowing this way down north-south? It's graded. They found the level of the land, carved the land, and carved it to make it flow that way. You got to make the water flow. And look, right here is a great split. One go south and go into this Powhatan area, right? Above North Carolina, border North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. And another one come up here north to the Appalachians. These are the only two that flow east. Everything else do something else. St. Lawrence, all that's flowing towards. Even this is crazy too. All right, because the Wabash go up and turn this way. It don't go this way towards. This water is gushing this way, going back east. Crazy. Now you know why. Your ancient ancestors dug this thing. And I ain't even going to sit here and say by hand. Obviously, they were very large men, but I'm not going to say that they didn't have some type of machinery. Owaspi reveals that they had spades, pickaxes, shovels, all type of stuff. I'm not going to say they didn't have some type of machine, but they had an understanding of knowledge and science, technology, plumb bobs, levels, masonry. You dig what I'm talking about? To understand it, and because once you keep reading, it lets you know that they also had the science of compacting concrete to hold the water. So I bet you, dollar to a donut, if we dredge the Mississippi, we're going to hit a concrete bottom. How to get there? Right? And Geechee, perceiving the virtue and wisdom of men, sent his angels to teach man the mystery of canal making. Look at that. To teach man to compound clay with lime and sand to hold water. What is compounded clay with lime and sand called, y'all? Concrete. So they get knowledge, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics all at once. And creating a way of locomotion, because you could have cut, Owaspy reveals that you could cut from the Pacific to the Atlantic without ever even touching on the ground, or go from Lake Superior or Canada all the way to the Gulf of Sociopine, or what y'all call the Gulf of Mexico, without ever touching ground. It's crazy. Same place as these great waterways was, now we got highways. Make you look at I-80 shooting out to the west, way different. I-66, Route 66, shooting down there to that southeast corner like that. And Geechee, perceiving the virtue and wisdom of men, sent his angels to teach man the mystery of canal making. You ain't just know this shit. You literally got taught it. You ain't just gain it by osmosis. What you think you did in them long houses? What you think you did in them pyramids? What you think you did in them what they call them teocallis, houses of light? What you did in the Hagendawa, what you mistakenly call a mound? Yeah, I know. They just gassed you up that you was Indian. You don't know nothing about being no Indian. I know. They'll tell you who you is, but they don't teach you how you is. You've always been the moral backbone of America. You've been the moral backbone of the world. But that's in kin. They taught man to compound clay with lime and sand, the whole water that's concrete, to teach man to find the gao, the level, and the force of water. That's masonry. That's geology. Shout out to my nigga Root Word, man. Free my dog Root Word, man. You dig what I'm talking about? Free my brother Root Word, man. When the pressure's on, it's a hit. You dig what I'm talking about? Regardless to we getting debates or something, man. You still my brother at the end of the day. Shout out, free that brother Root Word. Free the river god. Because learning how to direct the river makes you a river god. Learning how to make a river flow east that is flowing south to north and south. That makes you a river god. And to know how much water it takes to do what you needed to do. The angels also taught man how to make pots and kettles to burn clay in suitable shapes. You do your pot, making your pottery. To find what? Copper ore and silver ore. This 7,000, 4,000 BC. Already got copper ore and know how to do it. Already making clay pots. Already know how to smelt silver. Know how to smelt gold and lead and copper. And what was they doing with it? Right? They were smelting all this stuff for floors of the oracle chambers. Clean and white, shining and suitable for angels. What do you think they were learning? And they taught man to till the soil and to grow wheat and corn. Where we at? Wheat and corn are indigenous to America. They taught man to till the soil and to grow wheat and corn. Taught the women how to grind it and make bread. You ain't got no cornbread. Cornbread indigenous to America. Grandma make cornbread. Who taught you how to make cornbread? Jaja taught you how to make that cornbread. That's right. Taught the hunters how to slay the lion and the tiger. Talking about America and the mastodon. So when the last time we had lions, tigers, and mastodons? Oh my, in America. 12,000 years ago. Obviously, it was some even after that. Wait. Many were kingdoms in that day, and even greater were the canals crisscrossing the countryside. Hold on, I want to show this. I'm gonna go back and read. Many were the kingdoms of that day, and even greater were the canals crisscrossing the countryside. They built canals from the sea of Hula Hula Pan. Hula Hula Pan is Lake Superior, to the plains of Iganke, Hanela, Chochoba, or to the Gulf of Texas. From Lake Superior down to Texas, Louisiana, they call it the Great Canal, north and south. Ohio, or Higaw, Indiana, Mesogawanchula, Tennessee, called Higola Ofat. While it's called the Higola Ofat, because this is a high rise. This is a mesa. Tennessee is high ground, right? It's on an Ofat. And there was a massive school here too. Watch this. Ohio, Indiana, and Tennessee were filled with cities and tributary cities and schools and colleges of great learning. You see that? In Ohio, in Indiana, and Tennessee, they were filled with cities and tributary cities and schools and colleges of great learning. And betwixt these kingdoms and their great capitals were 1,000 canals. And all the seas were connected. All were connected. And in canoes, the people traveled and carried the productions of the land in every direction. Now in the high north lay the kingdom of Olegala, in the land of the giants, right? It was the place of the yellow rocks. We know what this is. This is Yellowstone. In the high north, where it is the high north is known as a land of giants. Do we have tales of giants coming out of that area? Dakota area? Sure do. Tons of them, right? We even get many people coming up missing about a Yellowstone Park and stories of Bigfoots and large men chasing people down, even in our common area in the 2020s. Right? Olegala, it was who gave his kingdom with 24 tributary cities, 420 cities, right, are tributary to this one God, Olegala, who had a massive structure and city built in what we now know today as Yellowstone. What melts it and makes it Yellowstone? Never mind. We ain't gonna go there. Right? But he had 420 cities tributary to him. And he gave his kingdom to who? Minigawiyashanka. I always thought, was this Minigawina Shanka. Is this where we get the name Minnesota from? Interesting. Just something to think of. But look, she had yellow hair. Ooh-wee. Long and hanging down. And the queen built temples in Yellowstone. Y'all heard about any temples in Yellowstone? 270 temples. Uh-oh. Y'all thinking some stuff there? You understanding why they made it a UNESCO area? Why you can't go in at a certain time? Why certain places is blocked off? Huh? They ain't tell you nothing about these 270 temples in Yellowstone, did they? Go check out Google Earth, see what you see. See if you've seen what I see. And two of them were adjacent. Listen, two of them were adjacent to the spouting waters. So this is something you can go look at. See where the waters are spouting at if there are two massive structures next to them. Is it there, Cosmon? Y'all got to do some of this heavy lifting yourself. I already did it. I'm telling y'all to go look for yourself. Go on Google Earth. Go look at where the waters are spouting at. You'll see them, right? They got them named and all that. Go look on there. Two massive things, structures, hills, mountains next to them. You tell me. Right? And then should be 270 more. And they said, look, this was some type of spiritual place. Why? They were adjacent to the spouting waters where her people went every morning at sunrise, singing praises to Gichi, Manito, the creator. Now, south of Olegala lay the kingdom of Onewaga, around about the Salt Lake in the valley of Magoba. Salt Lake City, the city of Onewaga, excuse me. What does Magoba mean? Which meant consecrated place of the voice. So here reigned for 20 generations. How long is 20 generations? Anybody know how long 20 generations is? Hit me in the chat. I ain't even looking at the chat right now. Right? But I'm going to come back. I'm going to look at the chat. How long is 20 generations? Oh, hold on. Let me share this with y'all because this is what I was reading. Say south of Olegala lay the kingdom of Onewaga, around about the Salt Lake in the valley of Magoba, which meant consecrated place of the voice. Here reigned for 20 generations the wise and holy kings called Winio Gusha Gusha. You ever heard about the Winio Gusha Gusha? Well, you have now. Now you know where they at. Is there anything even like Magoba in Salt Lake? Are there any places called One out there? Are there any places called Waga out that way? This is stuff you should be looking for. Here reigned for 20 generations the wise and holy kings called Winio Gusha Gusha, full of manliness and strong limbs. Okay, how long? It's 20 generations, y'all. Dominic, Booyah, extra G point, 660 years. 660 years, your ancestors were speaking directly with the Creator, all the way in Salt Lake City, where there is hardly a nigga at today. See the change? They call that the sign of the times. And on the eastward, listen, on the east of the lake, what lake? The Salt Lake, lay the ground of games and tournaments, where came tens of thousands every autumn to exhibit strength carrying horses. Niggas carrying horses and oxen. You can lift up an ox. And running and leaping and running races with the trained deer or the ikama. So you fast enough to run against a deer. You strong enough to lift up an ox and a horse. And you came here every year to these grounds of the games and tournaments, and you put on the show. This kind of sounds like the Olympics. But nigga, who is big enough to lift up? Who's strong enough to lift up an ox? You not regular. Didn't I tell you the Ahuan was large? Now you see how large he must have been for real, for real. So when you hear them stories of them 10, 12, 15 feet tall men, that's how big you would have to be. Think about it, to lift up an ox. That's 2,000 pounds. That's a ton. Carrying horses around. How big and fast you got to beat a deer in a foot race? This is why one of the reasons they called you God. This is why you were so feared. Boy, this is what they don't want you to know. This in you too. I'm going to just say this. Have y'all been watching the babies lately in the last, let's just say 10, 15 years? These niggas is giants. They big as that. Listen, even the girls tall. The boys real, real tall. I don't know. I'm just saying it make a little more sense if you know you got it already in you, just from old. It's just old blood, old DNA. Look what they win. It said, to the strongest and to the swiftest, the king gave prizes of handsome damsels with straight limbs and shapely necks, proud who love to be awarded handsome, mighty husbands. This is what you get for body slamming an ox. You get a bad little ting. A baddie. But then, Atura, right? Atura, the ancients called, was one of the names called Ahura in America. The ancient false god Ahura, right? From Persian fame. Was called Atura here. Also, the god Christ, right? Christ of the Christians, also inspired the Mayans, all that blood killing and all that Aztec killing, all that stuff is Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Christian doctrine through the false Manito, who was a man. Remember, Manito ain't a man, but the false prophet Manito and also the false prophet Quetzalcoatl, they came teaching Christ, Father, Son, Holy Ghost doctrine, right? Got the people shedding blood, doing all this crazy shit, and they went down to destruction. But they called the god of evil Itura. It's just good to know that they also called Christ Itura. Just know that. But then Itura, god of evil, looked over the broad earth, and he saw the land of America and the mighty races of Ahuans, and his mouth watered like a lion's when the lamb standeth before him. Atura called his legions, his devils from the regions of hell. He said, come, I have found a rich feeding place. Behold, I will make my kingdoms wider, spread out the walls of hell, gather in this great harvest of innocent souls. Look at that. And Atura, wise in his wickedness, said, go ye to the temples and oracles and obsess them. Assume ye to be, look, act like you Gichi, the creator, and answer them with lies. Yea, with a false tongue and a cunning they came. Before the prophets, stealing away their eyes, stealing away their ears. Thus did Atura, the god of evil, obsess the nations in America, right? And the tribes of men to worship him, infatuating them with the stories of far-off countries and the glory of kings and queens. And he set on foot a war of plunder, brought 10,000 times 10,000 evil spirits to aid and abet mortals in war. And Atura, the god of evil, taught mortals to what? This is where it starts. Why it start? This is where head flattening starts, head binding starts here in America. Why? And Atura, the god of evil, taught mortals to flatten heads to what? To make prophets. They're forcing suis, or forcing the thinking, reasoning parts of the brain towards the light receiving parts of the brain. Huh? This is the same thing to give you an idea of what happens. We would call this head binding because it forces a situation on a person, right? This head binding creates what we would call today autism. Right? Or put you on the spectrum. Right? That's what it does. But this is how you force people to be able to see spirits. You literally force it. You push their thinking cognitive centers, right, towards their light receiving centers. Or you push the frontal lobes towards the top of the head. This is why it's like bonded towards or banded towards the back with a slope. Right? And lo and behold, the land of America became a land of seers and prophets and conjurers, but seeking evil for sake of evil. Right? Got duped. Consulting the spirits of the dead for nothing but war and plunder, and for earthly glory and blood and death. And Atura instructed his evil host, when madness cometh upon the people, follow them to their sleeping couches and whisper in their souls that their neighbors are their deadly enemies. Oh, wait a minute. This kind of sound like I'm not bringing peace. I'm bringing the sword. I will make your father-in-law against the son-in-law, or daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. Your greatest enemies will be in your house. Interesting. It says, incite them to war. After they done got to fighting their enemies, incite them to war the day they own enemies. Right? And when they're dead, die like ashes over all the land, gather ye their distracted spirits to fill my mighty kingdom with Geechee's harvest. What you think gonna happen to the Hebrews? What do you think gonna happen to the Islamists? What do you think happens to a spirit for a man who goes and commits a terrorist act, blows himself up or some shit like that? What do you think happens to his spirit? Let me show you. When that nigga dead and his spirit laying right there and his body then blew up, but his spirit's still there, they gather in their distracted spirit to fill his mighty kingdom with the Creator's harvest, the Creator's sons and daughters, right? Those people who were stupid enough to believe in him, these false gods, right? And Atura declaimed, whosoever bringeth the great number of subjects, him I will exalt to be Lord or God. See, told you, Lord and God can't be creator. Somebody puts them in their position, even for the false God. Rah, rah. It's people higher than God. Let that sink in. God ain't the most high. God is like a Walmart manager. It's a bunch of guys. They just run one Walmart. This Walmart tends to happen to be called Earth. No different. It's just a rank, a position, a title held by a man. Whoever bringeth the greatest number of subjects, him I will exalt to Lord or God, and he shall have a sub-kingdom in my heavenly regions with thousands of servants to do his bidding. And the evil spirits fell to work, and lo and behold, the fair land of Wampum was overspread with human blood. And it was kingdom against kingdom, city against city, and man against man, and the holy temples were pulled down or burnt, and the canals were broken and wasted. The cities were on fire, and the fields were desolate. Into the forest fled the women and the children, hungry, weak, starving, and the tribes of men were broken up, and the nations went down. Then looked down from the highest heaven, the Creator, the Great Spirit. He saw the work of desolation, saw Atura at his bloody work, and the Great Spirit cried out in a loud voice so that the earth even shook with the power of his voice. Man, I couldn't imagine what type of earthquakes was going on. And it said it sifted all things as a woman sifteth meal. So it's sifted corporality and spiritual. You shook shit to the core. Oh. Right? Said he sifted it like a woman sift flour meal. Ooh-wee. And he found one grain of corn. Ooh. One people. Huh? Not ground by the God of evil. Who he found? He found hunger. The tribes so fast sworn to the Great Spirit that the evil gods and the evil spirits rode, and the evil spirits' words rode off and took no hold on them. So while all this blood and war shit is going on, here's a people who ain't fighting. Look, everybody else dead, dying. Who bounces back? The faithless. Well, y'all was wiping yourself out. They was in Shalom. Checkmate. The Great Spirit saw the tribes of hunger, and he called loud and long, hunger, hunger, hunger. The Creator would not be put off with silence. Again, he called hunger, hunger, hunger. But he heard only his own voice sounding far, knew his mighty power. Again, he called hunger, hunger, hunger. And in the first call, Atura and his evil host ran away. And in the second call, it was like springtime after heavy winter. And in the third call, it was like a budding like summer. He talking about the earthly conditions of all man at the time. Crazy. And there came up a sprout of the seed of hunger, a ahuan. An Indian, a nigger, taller than any other man. with a bright, fine, shining face of copper. There's only one people in America who have faces of copper. They're misnomered as African American Negroes, blacks. They are American Indians, right? And we bring in their history, nationality, and culture right now, shining as if all the destroyed temples glistened in his broad head. He spake, saying, Hear, O great spirit, here I am. And the great spirit said, Who art thou, my son? And he answered, I am the son of the Creator. And then asked the great spirit, Of what tribe? And he answered, My flesh is nothing. My genealogy is of the spirit of Ayin, my mother. Look, and Ahu and my father. That makes an Angwi. This makes him a Indian. The same thing you are today. If you call yourself nigga, black, you are a Ayin leaning Ahuan, or what is called a Angwi, a Indian. That's what they call them in America. Then the Creator said, For which reason I gave you the name EAWAHTA, spirit and flesh evenly balanced, best of men. Come thou with me, walk with me. Thou shalt reinstate the tribes of men, deliver them out of darkness, make them worshipful. This is 3953 BC. So all the stuff that we've heard about, Atura, Ahura, and all that stuff, we know because of the tales and the timetables of prophecy and everything that happened in between 7053 BC and 3953 BC. Now we're in 3953 BC. And we see EAWAHTA, a man who is spirit and flesh evenly balanced. One they call him best of men. Right? And you shall teach them whatsoever is with me hath no hard labor. Behold the flowers of the field. He said, I colored them. He said, behold the ant and the honeybee. Like I lead them. He said, the bird I teach how to build. He said, man alone is stubborn, setting up ways of his own. Oh, that he could learn to be one with me, to move and to labor with me. Then spake EAWAHTA, saying, Holy Egoquim, which is the name of the Creator in Algonquin. And look, if you look at this word, Egoquim, the English word or the English ear hears Algonquin. This is the original word, Egoquim. Right? Then spake EAWAHTA, saying, Holy Egoquim, I will go and teach man. Give him thy words. Make him understand. Egoquim said, For that labor call I thee forth. Make thee tall, and I made you handsome, with strong limbs and broad shoulders. Come then, my son, I will go with you. The secret name of the Creator given to the Ahuans and later anglicized as Algonquin is Egoquim. Egoquim is the secret name of the Creator given to the niggas of America, later anglicized as Algonquin. Now, into all lands, amongst all the scattered tribes, thy voice shall be my voice. So here thee will I stand. When thou openest thy mouth to speak, fear not, I will give thee words. Thou shalt not err. Then rose up EAWAHTA, the great prophet of America, saying, I am thy servant, lead thou me, for I am going in thy name, even to the end of the world. Remember, HIAWATHA had to go get help from the great Peacemaker. HIAWATHA is 1491 AD. We are in 3953 BC, so HIAWATHA is not the great prophet or the great peacemaker. He's in his story because he was drawn upon. You see what I'm saying? Not that there was a literal man who existed 3,400, damn near 5,000 years later. No. Hmm? When thus spake EAWAHTA, son of the Great Spirit, a light came over him, dazzling, brilliant, lighting the way, showing him the way. And so great was the spirit on EAWAHTA that when he came to a river, he rose up like an angel and sailed over and landed safely on the other side. Dang. Neither knew he whither he was going, knew not the places of the scattered and destroyed peoples. But the angels of Egoquim went before him into the forests and valleys, calling to the souls of the suffering, starving, dying, saying to them in their despair, the Creator, Egoquim, mighty is coming, his son, behold him, come forth from your hiding, come forth, O my beloved. And the women heard. Who heard first? Makes sense when you look at creative game. Who heard first? The women heard. Then the little children with sore and bleeding feet. The proud, brave men even gave ear. Right? They said, why do we fight? Why do we destroy? It was a wicked God. He called himself the Savior. Ooh-wee. The wicked monster, Itura. Then came EAWAHTA, came first to the kingdom of Tukshin and his queen, Shegu, in the land of Anaga Omahaha. Anaga Omahaha. Anago Omahaha. This is in Omaha. The flatheads told them all the words. This is Tukshin. Look at the flathead. Look at Shegu. Notice the flathead pushing the thinking regions towards the top. Right? What did he say? He told them all the words of the great spirit Egoquim, and then spake Tukshin, saying, to me the great spirit has spoken, told me all the words thou hast. I know all thou hast said is true. And then Shegu, the female, said, to me spake Ichi, the great spirit, true are all thy words, O EAWAHTA. By thee will all the scattered tribes will be gathered together. Many tribes will there be of red men. Egoquim will be their center, the mighty spirit. It's going to be like that again. It's going to be like that again. Then spake EAWAHTA, saying to his God, saying to his, good host and hostess, your place shall be the center. From your place, I will shoot out around about, always returning, bringing in followers. Whilst thus they talked, a light came above them. Look, said Tukshin, and it is the hand of Egoquim. Look, said Shegu, it is the voice of Gichi. Then spake EAWAHTA, seeing more clearly, raised up expressly, it is a ship of fire coming down from heaven. I hear the voice of the angel of Egoquim, the mighty. Then EAWAHTA went and stood betwixt Tukshin and Shegu, holding their hands so the voice of Egoquim could speak plainly, so he could hear. Then spake Egoquim, speaking out of the ship of fire. So we know this is not the Creator's voice. This is God's voice. Right? Coming out of this ship. Okay? See the difference? Now, yea, my beloved, I am with you. Behold, my words are wide. My worlds, are wide and many. When my back is turned, evil gods come to steal my children. Tell them lies to win them. Tell them they are my sons, come to save them. Hard is the fate of those who worship only one God only, but they are mine. I looked around at times. I said, He said, I look around at times. I set the evil gods flying. Be of strong heart, O my beloved. Many races will come and go on these lands, but the Ahuan, the Negro, the Angwi, the American Indian, the copper-colored red man shall possess it, inhabit it, far and near. Then shall come another evil god to flay and destroy my sons and daughters, to cover all the lands over with blood. This is Jesus. This is Christ. This is the other God. So he's giving you prophecy, right? So then another evil God shall come and flay and destroy my sons and daughters, to cover all the lands over with pure blood. Then will I come again and rout the evil God, raise up my sons and daughters full of glory. Ooh, wee. From far over the water will I bring their kindred. Right? Doc that. It's not Jews. It's Israelites. It's not Jews. A Jew and an Israelite are not the same thing. They didn't do the same thing. They weren't in the same place. They didn't have the same God. Jews actually have books. Israelites didn't need them. Why would you need a book to teach you how to be an Israelite when you're already an Israelite? So who are these Jews? They're not you. From far over the water will I bring their kindred, the Israelites, who worship none born of woman, who are wise-speaking people that will, a people that war not. So we know we're not talking about Jews, right? Ain't they over there genociding Palestinians, killing off Syrians, the Lebanese, and the Iranians all at the same time, warring against all of them? So we know we're not talking about those people, right? We're talking about the Israelites, the real Israelites, the real sons of Moses, a people that war not, who killed off not weaker nations. We know this ain't the Jew because they're over there slaughtering Palestinians right now. I will come in the Mohawk, or the Tununachi, and the Mohigan, the Hochikas. My hand shall reach around the earth in that day, and I will chase away all gods and saviors born of woman. Only the Great Spirit shall all men worship. Go forth, my son. Build wide my foundation in this land. Will I found? He said, build wide my foundation, because in this land I will found my earthly kingdom. Then upward rose the ship of heaven, and EAWAHTA buckled on his traveling slippers, bade goodbye to Tukshin, filled his pockets with bread of Shegu, and kissed her hand goodbye and started. For many years, the great prophet of America, EAWAHTA, traveled over all the regions of Guatemala, teaching, gathering. Same thing he did with the Iroquois, right? Teaching, gathering together, swearing to people that ever after to be firm to the Great Spirit, made them swear solemn oaths that never more would they listen to any God save the Creator. Remember, you and your ancestors made these. You said you was gonna come back to the Great Spirit. Ain't it only right that the Creator reminds you? Could this be the reason you come forth with all this proven documentary of the Negro being the Indian? And now we got a spiritual book purported to be from the Creator, and he's telling you the same thing. And then he said, I put them in America, in North America specifically, and that it ain't no more like them. And we look around the earth and ain't nobody like us. Not them niggas in Africa, not the blacks in Europe, none of them, not even in South America. And for all black culture, quote unquote, nigger culture in the world, the North American Indian dominates, runs, and sets the trend. We say what up. Just is what it is. Give us our American culture back. If you don't, give us hip hop. Give us that Nike, all that stuff back. For many years, traveled EAWAHTA all over the regions of Wampum, teaching, gathering together, swearing to people, ever after firm to the Great Spirit. He made them swear solemn oaths that they never more would listen to any God save the Creator. Made them swear they would never be caught in another cunning savior like Atura, whose people delight in war. Into villages gathered EAWAHTA, the frightened tribes, and taught them writing. Look, just like the great Peacemaker did for the Iroquois, who had no writing or engraving before the Haudenosaunee was made into one house. Or the peace treaty was made between them, because they was even warring with each other. What he do? He taught them writing and engraving. This is Wampum. Remember Wampum? Writing and engraving. Taught them the secret name of the Great Spirit, Ekoquim. And explained to them the moon and how to keep the seventh day for worship. This is why they call it Turtle Island. All right. Now, the Creator saw the great work of EAWAHTA, saw the people gathered together in tens of thousands of places. Listen. Then spake the Creator to EAWAHTA, saying, listen, 40 mighty nations shalt thou found, O my son. How many? 40. Not one, not two, not three. 40 nations. Massive, big-ass nations. And every nation shall be an independent nation, but all the nations shall be united into a brotherhood of nations as one mighty people. And that one shall be called Opa, Ekoquim, signifying one, or out of many one, or union. Sound familiar? The Iroquois got it from you. Yeah, the Americans stole it from the Iroquois. Facts. But the Iroquois got it, stole it from you. Or by Ekoquim. For when I come in Cosmo, my people shall have many states. Do we got many states now? We do. Like a dime. So just like we got many states now, right? Imagine every state being a kingdom. Into a mighty nation. So you had the Michigan nation, the New York nation, the Florida nation, the Alabama nation, the Cali nation, the Texas nation. Just like you got it today. For when I come in Cosmon today, my people shall have many states, like unto thine. Mind you, this is 3993 BC. And their combination shall be called what? Union. This is the United States Union, signifying one, right? Build thou a model for them, O EAWAHTA. Build a model for who? For the Haudenosaunee. The Haudenosaunee built a model for who? The European fathers, or what we call the United States, or the American Union. Ooh-wee. Build thou a model for them, O EAWAHTA. For though when they come, they shall overthrow thy people in the earth. Ooh-wee. This is why they want to make you African. Because if you know you the people of this land, it's going up. The angels of thy holy ones, who the Algonquins, shall come and purge them of their savor and make them clean in my sight. Then EAWAHTA. Now, mind you, this is the iron leaning Ahuan today called a Negro. We're talking about you. I ain't talking about nobody else. Right? If you fit in here, you fit in here. If you don't, you don't. But we just talking about them ones. I don't want nobody say, oh, Cosmon, you sounding crazy. No. Sometimes you got to take care of your own, talk about your own, bring your own history. I ain't listening to nobody tell me about my history. I don't need y'all to tell me nothing. I'm telling you something. Because they always try to say, oh, this white boy book and well, why is it telling so much about these American Indians over here? If it's trying to hold us back, enslave people, and do all this crazy stuff, right? Then EAWAHTA made the nations, united them into one mighty people, and called them Opa, Ekoquemo, out of many one union. And they planted the country over with cornfields and dwelt in peace. Now, these are called the Algonquin laws. Right? Did you know the Algonquins had laws? If you knew the Algonquins had laws, hit me with a 2 in the chat. But if you knew they had laws, but you ain't know what they was, hit me with a 3 in the chat. Because see, a lot of people talk about this movement, this Aboriginal Indian movement, right? But they don't teach the stuff that actually counts. Everything outside of a genealogy or a DNA test is what my people need, right? We need nationality. We need heritage. We need culture. We need ethnicity. It hit different when you know that all niggas in America are called Algonquins. There is a Mongoloidal type people here who are called Iroquois. And then we got a mixed Algonquin, Iroquoian, could be white, could be whatever thing. Whatever you mix an Algonquin with becomes Siouan. Or whatever you mix a Iroquois with becomes Siouan. Siouan means admixed. Iroquois means Mongoloidal. Algonquin means Negroidal. Also, it's a nation. Also, it's a name of the creator. Also, you don't become a so-called tribe, right? Because all the nations, all 40 of the nations together are called Algonquin, right? So that all that Algonquin, and all that stuff, that's new made up shit of some Mongoloid or some white boy trying to steal your nigga Algonquin heritage. That's all it is. They're going to say I'm hateful, but it's true. And the real ones will tell you, yeah, it is what it is. Right? I see some threes in there. Just me said I hit 2 before I heard the full statement. Yeah, you knew it was something. We just didn't know what they was. All right. Now, if Cosmon is making the claim that the nigga is Algonquin, every dialect, every so-called slip of the tongue, everywhere he was, the nigga was Algonquin. Right? And it didn't matter if you had an Algonquin father and Iroquois mama, and you went and stayed with the mama, you may have been Iroquois, right? But you half nigga. You see what I'm saying? And then if you stay Algonquin, you still have Iroquois, but now you Algonquin. because it's cultural, right? So if we're not up here culturally misappropriating, right, the things we are about to hear should do two things. One or two things. One, they should sit well in your stomach. Like, this shouldn't be a stretch or it's nothing hard or, you know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, that makes sense, right? Everything of the Algonquin laws, if you are Algonquin, should come easy to you. Remember, you ain't even know these even existed. And if you did know they existed, you ain't know what they was. That ain't a shot. That's just truth. Right? So let's get into what's actually being said and see if this stuff is just lunacy. This is red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish. Let's just see if any of this is crazy. But if it stick well, if it makes some sense, if it seemed like something your great grandmama would do, like your grandmama, your mama would do, I would just say slow down and look into it. Right? These are the Algonquin laws. Right? That there is one great person, even great Egoquim, the creator. Right? Call him the great person, the creator and ruler. It's only one great person, Egoquim, the creator and ruler over all heaven and earth. Okay, is that stretch? Yeah, okay, all right. Him shalt thou have, and no other God, nor Lord, nor idol, nor man, nor angel to worship forever. Wait a minute. Only one great person. No other gods before me. Okay, all right. What three say? Him shalt thou love above all things in heaven above, or on earth, or in the waters of the earth. Wait a minute. And thou shalt teach him to thy children, and command them to teach him to their children, and so on forever. And thou shalt swear against all other gods and lords and idols to serve them not forever. And the same to thy children, to their children after them. And this is the first Egoquim law. And thou shalt deal unto all men and women and children as justly and as kindly as to thy own mama, out of whose breast thou wert fed, and thou wert a helpless and of no strength. See, I want you to deal with all men and women and children in that way. Ooh-wee. Teaching this to thy children and to their children after them forever. This is the second Egoquim law, but didn't this sound just like some commandments we done heard somewhere before? Dum, 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 dum. Uh-oh. Let's see what else it's saying. They say, what? No, wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back. Right? Because it also said, treat people just and kind. All men, women, and children. Just as kind as your own mama who breastfed you when you was a helpless baby. Interesting. Let me know when y'all hear something evil. Timestamp it. You dig what I'm talking about? When you hear something evil. Right? Now, and to the sick and helpless, to the stranger, and to the man that cometh from afar, to the widow who is destitute, and to the child that hath no father, thou shalt be both father and mother to them, and take them into thy house and feed them, and give them skins and clothes to wear. And if they be lost, thou shalt go with them, show them the way, commanding these things to your children and their children after them. Does that sound like evil to you? What about the third law? And thou shalt not tell lies. Wait a minute. This stuff sounds familiar. Thou shalt not tell lies, nor speak falsely against any man, nor woman, nor child, nor break thy word of promise. Didn't they always used to say, honest engine? Y'all remember you used to say that? Honest ending. On my mom. How many of them niggas on God? Even though death, he said, don't break your word or your promise, even though death come upon me, to induce thee otherwise, unchangeable as the setting and rising sun shall be the word of thy mouth. Y'all see something evil yet? What about this? And thou shalt not take and possess that which is another's. Okay, land of Canaan. We obviously ain't got the same God. Creator saying, nigga, don't go into Canaan and kill nothing. What did you do? Your God say, man, kill the Canaanites, kill the white people. Oh, kill up the Jebusites. Oh, yeah. Kill up the Hivites. Oh. Yeah, them two different guys. And thou shalt not. Don't do it. Don't go over there. No. Do not take and possess that which is another's. Israel. Why you was over there stealing shit? Europe. Why you was in America stealing shit? Africa. Why you was over in America stealing shit? Southeast Asia. Why you was over? India. Why you was in America stealing? Nor suffer thy children to do so neither, nor the children after them. This the fifth law. And thou shalt respect the times of woman. Right? This dude said, Elder Yara is one of the dumbest people I've ever met. Right? He said, your God said, you can't be with your wife when she's 9 months pregnant. No, it's saying while she's pregnant, or more importantly, when she's on her period. Don't have sex with her. Right? And when and hold your water when she pregnant too. Poking your little baby in the head. That's why they had a little soft spot. Okay. Baby come out a little soft spot at the top of his head. He said, respect the times of woman. And she bleed every month. And when she is barren unto thee, right? Thou shalt not lie with her, just when she's having her baby. Nor give her heavy labor. That means treat her like a queen. Nor angry words. That means don't talk to her all kind of sideways. Don't fret her. Don't get her all sideways. Pamper her the whole time. Especially if your God is telling you, nigga, don't knock her back out. While she is especially heavy. Right? You may not even know she pregnant at first. You dig what I'm talking about? Nobody gonna hold that against you. But look what it say to her. All right, yeah, I ain't hunching on her. But it said, yeah, you know, respect the times of woman. That means don't have sex with her when she on her period. And it says, and when she is bearing unto thee or giving you a child, right? Don't lie with her. Don't sleep with her. Don't have sex with her. Why? And what else? He's like, don't sleep with her and don't give her heavy labor. Don't stress her out. Right? Don't give her a heavy labor. Don't make her do a lot of stuff. Right? Don't yell at her. Don't give her no angry words. None. And don't stress her. Don't fret her. Don't make her go crazy. He said, but be obedient to her. Be obedient. Right? This is what Jaja telling our husbands. Yeah, it's a small price to pay. Right? Actually, it's a good price to pay not to sleep with a woman who bleeding. Nigga, you niggas nasty. I'm straight. I don't want it that bad. I get some of that slizzle tizzle. You dig what I'm talking about? That 3,000, that gawk boy. You dig what I'm talking about? Y'all nasty. Y'all need it that bad? Y'all want to sleep with her on her period? You nasty, Elder Yara. But you did say you'll kill your kids, so you know what I mean? It is what it is. I don't put nothing past you heathens no more. And thou shalt respect the times of thy woman, right? And when she giving you a baby, thou shalt not lie with her, nor give her heavy labor, nor angry words, nor fret her, but be obedient to her, doing whatsoever she asks thee to do, for it is her time, and she is thy queen. That's what a waspy say. Waspy say, don't be so lustful that you willing to sleep with her on her period, you nasty nigga. If that's nasty, hit me with a 4 in the chat. You dig what I'm talking about? That's nasty. He thought he was saying something. Waspy don't say what you saying. It's saying don't get no red wings, homie. Why? Not only is it spiritual benefit, it's physical benefit to it. So you don't catch no trichomosis and all type of little stuff, you know, women go through every month. Nasty nigga. Messing up the sheets out there, but you nasty. This is what you was fighting me over? So you can sleep with your wife on her period? This is the point you was trying to make? Nasty Negroes. Gotta watch them people, man. Watch them. You dig what I'm talking about? That's some sick stuff, bro. I'm straight. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm gonna give her space for a couple days. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man. You dig what I'm talking about? I ain't that stressed. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm good. Be all right. You know what I mean? Running red lights and, you know what I mean? Getting red wings and it's terrible. Man, what the... Huh? This is what he was trying to... And then look, it said, teach this to the young men. Teach this to the young men. And the young women. And to theirs that come after them forever. For their young are begotten of me, the Creator. And I will have them shapely and strong and brave. So could it be that holding off. It seems like the Creator is saying that holding off from pounding your woman out while she got your son in her makes children, right, that are shapely and strong and brave. I give up a couple months to have my child come out like that. Huh? So even if you is giving up your sexual appetite for a couple months or whatever, you dig what I'm talking about, pampering your lady, you dig what I'm saying? Look at the benefit you get from it. Boy, you're gonna raise up a left tackle, 2 linebackers, a quarterback, and a point guard, and a doctor. They said they're gonna be strong, shapely, and brave. I would give that up if I knew. You know what I mean? You can't hold people, you can't fault people for what they don't know, but now you know. There's a reason to it. He's not just telling you to do it, it's a benefit behind it. It helps to produce a more shapely and strong and brave child. Thou shalt not, listen, thou shalt not labor, thou shalt labor 6 days, but on the 7th day, it is what? The moon's day. And thou shalt not labor, nor hunt, nor fish, but to go to the altar of thy Creator and dance and sing before me, and sit in silence to hear my words, which I speak into the souls of men and women and children. Sound familiar? This is why they always mistake you as, oh, the Indians are the lost tribes of Israel. No, you're not. No, you're not. What y'all got to understand is that there's only one true system in order. So if you're following the true system in order, don't matter if you speaking it in Chinese, don't matter if you speaking it in Indian, don't matter if you speaking it in some Hamitic language or European or language, don't matter if you're doing it in America, you're doing the same thing, and it's going to be the same system in order. Same reason did the Hebrews say Yahweh, and over here we say Jehovah. The Indians say Jehovah. Did they speak the same language? No, but when they got the praise, shit started to look a whole lot familiar. This is why they always confuse you with the sons of the Israelites and all them. And then today, shit, for the last 3,400 years, you be getting that nigga mix, that Eastern nigga mix that they keep trying to say is these are sons of Moses. They coming from that way. But how would you, after, let's just say after 1,500 years, right? You got brown skinned Hamitic Africans and brown skinned Indians. Let's just say, I'm not saying everybody's mixed. You already know stance. They're not. But for those that are, how would you be able to tell them apart? If a brown-skinned Negro from America got with a brown-skinned African and had a baby, how would you be able to tell what it is by what it looked like? You wouldn't. It's just about your culture and where you at. Thou shalt restore the rites and ceremonies of Chopin and Anubiapan. On part, I swear thee, which thou shalt not restore. And Anubiapan on the part, I swear thee, which thou shalt not restore, which is, thou shalt not flatten the head to make a seer. Because we don't do this flat head stuff. A hanga, to drive the judgment of the brain away from the prophetic regions. That's what it does. teaching these things to thy children and thy children after them forever. Huh? And that's that. Kind of sound like some 10 Commandments, don't it? You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, I could send a little PDF, Iman, just in case, but I know you like the little book. If y'all need the little book, I'll shoot y'all Susan B. Martinez, her and Cosmo Art make them, and you know, she get that stuff out there to y'all. I'm sure it'll be no problem. You know what I mean? Get that light out there. You know, and with that being said, man, you know, hope this was a good little lesson, man. I'll drop the link for a second. Anybody want to come in and do a little building with your boy? It's different when you actually teaching the heritage and culture. Everybody can go and look up who is who, what is what, but what was they doing? You know what I mean? What was their heritage, their culture, their nationality? How you prove it? You dig what I'm saying? How do you prove it? You know, where is the objective proof for what people be saying? It's in the culture. It's in the heritage. Right? Now that we gaining our nationality back, I say it's Algonquin. I say it's Algonquin. And don't look past the skin, right? Many of your Angwigans today are so-called pale-faced Europeans. It just is what it is. They were pale-faced, what we would light-skin more, even though it's not like same, but it's like light, what we would call white today, right? Ahwans. And the only reason that you, the color that you are, is because your ancestor was that same color. But that don't mean your ancestors wasn't dark or didn't come, because most modern so-called European come from black people in Europe and in America, both sides, and white Africans. A lot of the so-called European white folks are really the enslaved Africans. Look up a book called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. The forgotten cause of the Civil War was white slavery. When they talk about all that slave and all them Africans down there in Charleston, South Carolina, they got people who were down there, first-hand witnesses. Those Africans was white boys being sold, being whooped, raped, and put in terms. Many of them was white. Let that sink in. Them niggas on the bottom of that boat, they got shipped over there into the Caribbean and all in the port of Brazil, white. Let it sink in a minute. I know. That feeling is called cognitive dissonance. It's going to be all right. Don't move. You know what I'm saying? Don't move. It's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Drop the link in there, man. Anybody want to come in for a second? Come holler at your cousin now. You dig what I'm saying? Big Cosmonian. You dig what I'm saying? The Gamma Ray. FGK, CGG. You dig what I'm saying? Peace to the righteous God. Nirvanian goddesses. You dig what I'm talking about? That's right. Our goddesses is higher than us. That's right. Proud of it. You dig what I'm saying? What they didn't tell you? That a nation is built on the backs of men. You dig what I'm talking about? David Long in the house. What up, though, big bro?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm good, man. What's going on, Dad?
Hey, you're right about the white people being in slavery, because that was what old Cotton Mather's was going to do to William Penn if he caught him on that ship.
Sure would.
I
Sure
just
would.
wanted to pop in and say that.
No, you're exactly right, Dave. You're exactly right, bro. It's just so much we don't know. You know what I mean? It's just a lot out there that we don't know. It's not commonly known. It's not put out there, or even worse, it's hidden. Right? And then they tell us what I've noticed. This is what I've noticed, Dave. All the things that they told us were spooky, magic, crazy, made up, all that stuff came out to be real. And everything that they told us was the real stuff. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it, Cosmon. There's nothing past this. It's all fake. So they and then the stuff that they didn't know about, they just made up the rest. You dig what I'm saying? The moon has tidal lock on water. Yeah. What? What are you talking about? So sometimes I sit and blame man, but then I got to remember he's always inspired. If he did some dumb stuff, it was a dumb angel right next to him, geeking him up to do it. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was important to bring out Prophet of America. We hear about everybody else. Everybody else gets brought out. You know? And then there's a major gap that I'm disconcerted with, and in the American tale between the time of Columbus and the beginning of the book of S and that of Spita, or not Spita, but the beginning of the Ark of Bomb. There's a lack of something, right? I perceive it, and it should be there, right? Because over there, let's just say in those areas, let's say India by itself, it had Sakaya and it had Kapilia and it had Brown. You know, Ham gets Abram, Moshe, and Yeshua. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Asia gets Poe, Chinese, and Confucius. And we get in America, we get EAWAHTA. But where's the guy that comes during the time of Esra? You dig what I'm talking about? That's supposed to be the equivalent to Kapilia, the equivalent to Sakaya. Where's the guy that's, Confucius would have been, the contemporary, not contemporary, but the Asian version of Jesus. Right?
Yeah.
Where is that in America? Where are those stories? You see what I'm saying? And if Owaspy is admitting it, it's odd. I know it's there. Right? Because we hear tons of stories about the Grand Khans. Right?
Yeah.
And they get to talking about it a little bit, but they don't go into it like deep. like they do on everything else. So it's still a mystery to me. It seems to be something missing, and I know my Creator don't do missing.
Yeah, that always struck me as a bit strange that that period wasn't spoken about in the Americas.
I mean, it's spoke about a little bit, but it's not like great. You know what I mean? Like I would like to. You know what I mean? Like I would like it to. It's just so much history gone. You know what I mean? Between basically S and EAWAHTA. You know what I mean? You missed the whole pre-dynastic, dynastic, Old Kingdom, New Kingdom, Middle Kingdom of Egypt, you know, Greece, Rome, all that. It excludes a lot of that, you know what I mean, during that time in America. And I can understand why, but then we see the greatest number of ions here at that time. And so the greatest of the destruction, if destruction was going on at that time, that the ion was taking place during Esper, we should see it here. So they would have had massive cities, right?
Yeah.
And colonies of, I mean, like stuff you couldn't even believe. And we see remnants of it. You dig what I'm saying? But it's something missing. It's something missing. I got some ideas, you know. I got some ideas, and I got some buddies with some very nice drones, right? And I think nice investment in some LiDAR will pay off in the end of the day. Because I believe I know where to look. Especially for the 34 ships of Gautama.
Yeah.
I think I know where they are. Right? I think they're gonna be hard to find because they're under the ground. But if I see what I think it's gonna be like, it should be noticeable. They should be next to each other. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? 34 ships, even if I found 10. You know what I mean? If you could find 10, even 5 of those structures in the place where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? I'm on to something. Even if I only found 5. But Jaja say he gonna preserve all 34.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't say that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking for. You know, I just think it's interesting times, man. A lot of information is coming out and paradigms are changing. You know, right in front of our eyes. I think it's sweet though, man. I think the Cosmon era is something else. You know what I mean? I like the change. You know what I mean? I've seen the worst of the worst. I lived through the crack coke era. You know what I mean? The prison industrial. I was the guy they were preying on. You know what I mean? Specifically. You know
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
So I've been able to see where we came from to where we at now, and to understand that it's going to even change even more radically. You know what I mean? For the better.
Oh, definitely for the better.
Yeah, for the better. You know what I mean? That's faith. You know what I mean? That objectified belief is faith. So when you see what you know to believe to be true actually happening, that's faith. You know what I mean? So, hey man, I've been on here about 3.5 hours, Brother Dave. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, man. Go get me some of these veggie tacos.
Okay, I'm gonna back on out of here. Peace to the chat. And everybody, keep doing it. Creator gang. Just keep right on doing what we're doing in Creator's name.
That's right. Love, life, balance out there to you, big bro. I think you muted.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air,
Just that Japheth, that Chow Mein, that Papa Bull, that Tao Mein, since sunset in the Ark of Wayne. My brain moving like Tao Sang, so ass above, it's so below. That up and that down thing, this flow is atmospheric. I call that a ground game. See, water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning. So how your God make a sun without vortexing current? See, the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people. Oh, watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether. And when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing Puerto. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with HIAWATHA. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. And the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bride's groom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahuin is now a Angui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm a Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling